Hi there, my name is Ashley and I am a maker from Vancouver Island in BC, Canada. So for today's episode, I have a little bit of a new setup here that I'm trying out, and I'm going to be doing minimal editing because I wanted to film and also publish this on YouTube on the same day. So I thought that I would just do a little show and tell on what I've been working on, and I'm going to split this video up into two different sections. So I will talk all about knitting, and then afterwards all about what I've been sewing on. So you can stick around for whatever interests you, if it's any or all of it. Before I jump into the knitting section, I just wanted to let you all know that today is finally pattern release day for the Wavy 80s slouchy sock pattern. It's kind of a mouthful. I'll show you the socks here. I've talked about them before on my channel. So they're 80s inspired. I'll show you this one, where they can be a little bit of a slouch sock. They can also just be worn pulled up like normal. They are top-down construction with a textured color work. It's stranded color work, but it is purled. And then there's options in the pattern for two different heel styles and two different toe decreases. And I'll just show you some of the variations in the pattern. So this one has a shorter cuff with just one of the color work charts followed, heel flap and gusset, and then just normal classic toe decreases. And then on this version, it shows it with a longer leg length. So there's two chart repeats. This here is a Balbriggan heel. So it's just a different construction method. And then there are sideways toe decreases. So I'll put up some pictures so that you can see the differences there, but the pattern is kind of like choose your own adventure as to what you want to do so that you can create your own socks. So it's a pattern that I've been telling people allows knitters to either just embrace the familiar, do what you know that you like, or it allows you to explore something new. So if you want to learn a new method of construction like the Balbriggan heel or a sideways toe, then this pattern has got you covered. It's fairly simple and straightforward. My test knitters said that even though there were new constructions for them, they found it quite easy to follow and they really enjoyed it. So yeah, this pattern is out in the world on Etsy and on Ravelry. And just as a thank you for my YouTube followers and viewers here, I wanted to give you all a special coupon code. So I'll put that down on the screen here below, and it's going to run from now through Monday, May 27th. So yeah, it's just a special thank you because you spend so much time with me and I feel like we're knitting friends. So I wanted to share that with you. So I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you have as much fun with it as I have. And now I'm going to put my sample back on my feet because they're cold. And I have been wanting to wear these for so long, but I've been keeping them good for photos. I always get a little bit nervous about wearing the samples before a pattern is released, just in case something happens and I need to take fresh photos. So I usually kind of just set it aside and don't wear it until the pattern's out in the world. So it's kind of a little bit of a celebration for me too, because once the pattern's out in the world, then I get to wear the samples. So that's exciting. All right, so like I said, we're going to have this video in two sections. One where I talk about what I've been knitting on, and then later on I'll talk about what I've been sewing on. So let's get started with knitting. So for knitting, I have been doing a little bit of it, each day consistently, but I haven't made a whole lot of progress on too many projects. I've been more so just focusing on getting the Wavy 80s slouchy socks pattern out into the world, so that's been taking up a bit of my free time. But I will show you a couple things that I've been knitting on. I've been working on a test knit for Rebecca Clow. It's the Tolsta Tank. So she came up with the Tolsta T last year, and now this year it's the Tolsta Tank. And basically, it's a pattern that has all these different neck options, so you can really just pick what you want. It's available in 4-ply and DK weight. It's really a packed pattern. So with purchasing that pattern, you'd be able to make so many different style tops. It's really pretty exciting. So I signed up to make the 4-ply square neck tank top. And this is my version of it. I'm not quite done. I used Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. So here they are. These are the colors Dusty Artichoke and Dove Blue. I was hoping to be able to make, this is the size 3. I was hoping to be able to make it in just 2 balls of the main color and then a little bit for the striping, but I ended up having to break into a 3rd ball of yarn. So just keep that in mind if you're making the size 3 or larger. And I did things a little bit differently. So basically, the pattern is knit from the bottom up, and then you make decreases for your front piece, and then same with the back. And then you pick up stitches for your straps. I don't love bottom-up construction just because you can't try it on as easily and know how things are going to fit, and then you're kind of stuck with the length that you've got. So a few of the other testers had the idea to start with a provisional cast on, and then afterwards some length can be added by knitting down. So that's what I did. Just to give me that flexibility afterwards. I can choose what length I want on this and how I want to finish the bottom of the tank. So I just did a provisional cast on with a crochet hook, and then I started knitting on the body. So you knit this tube up to your desired length, and then start doing the decreases. And I decided to do stripes about every 1.5 inches. And it's just a one row stripe. I really like the look of it. I think it's gonna look awesome just with shorts and jeans. It's very summery. There were so many ends to weave in though. So many. I think I've woven them all in, but I haven't actually snipped them. So obviously when you're doing it in the round, you have an end at every color change. But then when I started knitting this flat, there was ends everywhere. You know, how many would that be? 3? What did I do? Did I carry that up? Yeah, I think there is 2 or 3 ends on each side of the panel at each of these stripes. So there was a lot of ends to deal with, but it's worth it. It looks really cute. And with this pattern, your front and back panels are exactly the same shaping, so it could be reversible, but I like the idea of always just wearing it the same way. So I put a little tag in there. I just sewed this in as I was making it. And the pattern says to do a little bit of ribbing at the neckline and then do ribbed straps, but I decided to make a little bit of a variation. So I made a folded over hem for the front and back pieces, and then I decided to do a double knit strap here. And this is my first time knowingly doing double knitting. I think I have done double knitting once before, like a tiny little bit in another pattern, but I didn't know that's what I was doing. So when I looked up a video on how to do this, and as I started, I realized, oh, okay, I think I've done this once before. But double knitting is not very complicated, and it's really cool. It's nice and sturdy. And you're basically just knitting like this tube on itself, but you're knitting back and forth. It's really cool. So yeah, the reason why I chose the double knitting was I wanted something kind of clean looking because of this folded over hem here. I wanted it to all look like stockinette, and I wanted something that was not going to stretch too much this way. Just because it is a tank with narrow straps, you know, I didn't want this to risk getting stretched out, you know, longer and longer and then having my neckline go further down. So I wanted something fairly sturdy, and I think that the double knitting will be good for that. I will say, I don't know if you can see on the camera that there's a little bit of kind of like gathering or puckering happening here. And I think it's just because I followed the pickup rate that the pattern said, but because the double knitting doesn't have a lot of stretch to it, I think it kind of like holds all those stitches a little bit tighter and cinched up a little bit more, because the pattern actually says to pick up these stitches, cast on, and then do ribbing. And ribbing would be a lot more stretchier. So I'm hoping, I think that this is something that'll probably just block out. I'll probably kind of like stretch it out a little bit and let it wet block, and it'll probably solve that problem. But yeah, I still wanted to do it this way instead of having ribbed straps, which I think would probably kind of stretch out more with more wear. So it was an interesting thing to learn. I think now going forward, if I was doing this again, I'd probably just pick up a few more stitches in here. And I also didn't quite realize how narrow this strap would be with this many stitches of the double knitting. I was hoping more for like an inch wide strap, and it's a little bit more narrow than what I was wanting, but it's still good. It covers my bra straps, and that's what I was wanting. So I am very nearly done this. The pattern's going to be released, I think it's June the 7th. So make sure you follow along, Rebecca, to hear more about that. But I would highly recommend the pattern. Yeah, all of her patterns are really good. So yeah, I would recommend this one for sure. So where I'm at with this is I'm done everything except for the bottom, and I'm gonna give it a good try on and kind of see how much more length I want, and then decide on how I want to finish this bottom. So the pattern it recommended starting with ribbing and then working your way up. So I could finish it with ribbing, but because these are all such clean finishings up here, I don't love the idea of ribbing down on the bottom. So my thoughts are either to do another folded hem on the bottom, just folding it up. I mean, I would knit more and then fold it up and sew it down. So it would just match this here. So folded hem, or the other option is just to add a bit of length and then leave it as a rolled hem like that, which I think is kind of just casual and suits it as well. So if you have an opinion on this tank, let me know what you prefer. Do you think the folded hem or the rolled hem for it? And yeah, I'm hoping to get this done in the next couple days. And then the other thing I've been knitting on is just finishing up some more samples for another sock pattern. So I have shown this before too, so I won't talk about it too much. These are the ones that I've shown before. This is hilarious when it's not on an actual sock blocker, so I'm gonna stick it on there. But I'm thinking of calling these the half and half ribbed socks. I'll show you why. Because there is, at the halfway mark, you start ribbing in this pattern. So these socks are toe-up construction, and they have a fun toe detail here, which is just a row of raised purl bumps, which don't affect any texture on the inside. I had someone ask me, like, do you feel that inside? They felt like their foot would be a little sensitive to that, but it doesn't make any difference on the inside. It's just raised on the outside of your sock. So there's that fun little detail. And then there's a fleagle heel, which creates an angled line at the heel. So ribbing starts at the heel there and it angles up and works your way up the leg. So it's 2x2 until a little bit of 1x1 ribbing. So they're really simple, but they just have a nice visual look to them. So these are the shorties. I'll show you the long version. That's just one color. There we go. You can see the line there of that angle where it switches from stockinette to ribbing. And that's the pearl bump around the toe. So that's the one color version. And then the other one I've been working on is right here. So these ones are going to be color blocked. I got this beautiful yarn from the Yarn Patch in Crossville, Tennessee. They're dyed by one of the workers there at the yarn shop. So there's this beautiful kind of violet, like an icy violet, and then this nice turquoisey teal. I thought they looked really good together. So this version obviously has the contrast pearl half row there, but then once I get to the heel, all that ribbing is going to be in the turquoise yarn color. So they'll be kind of half and half blocked that way. So that's all that I've been working on with knitting. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I always like having a small sock project on the side just to work on when we're driving in the car or whatever. So that's been good. Okay, let's get into the sewing section. So I've been sewing a little bit more recently. I had a few patterns that I really wanted to work up just for my summer wardrobe. And once I have the sewing machine out, you know, we live in a really small apartment. It's just a 1-bedroom and I don't have a lot of space to sew in. Even just setting up like the paper patterns, you know, taping them all and cutting them and then cutting fabric. Whenever I am sewing, I kind of take up the whole apartment. So when I do sew, I like to just get really focus on it and get a whole bunch of projects done at the same time because it all is a mess and you know, everything's out already. So it was fun a while back there. I was able to work on a few projects. So the first one that I worked on is the Sid tie top and dress. I've talked about it on previous episodes, but I made one for myself. So I thought I would start with the top just to make almost like a toile. And this is it here. It's the sleeveless version. And there's 4 ties at the front. It's just so cute and girly and fun and summery. So yeah, I'll try this on. I'll try all of what I've made on so that you can see it modeled. But yeah, this is, I made the size 6 out of this. Just according to the pattern recommendations, that was the proper fit for me. I could have gone down a size, but they're meant to be kind of boxy, and I think that this top fits perfectly in the size 6. So after making this as a toile, I thought I would go ahead and make the dress version. And I also kind of went back and forth on the sizing of it. I wasn't sure if I should do size 4 or 6, but because the top fit so good in the 6, I cut the dress out in a size 6. And now I wish I had done the size 4. I will in the future. When I make another dress, I would do size 4. It still is just absolutely stunning. I love it. It's so big. It's so hard to show on the screen. I'll stand back here. I'll try it on too so that you can see it on. So it is just a very flowy, large dress. And I think that I could have been able to pull off the smaller size with not so much positive ease. So this is using, I think it's called Coral Linen from the fabric store. They have really good sales, like email promotions that they send out. And so this was one of their sales a couple months ago. And I loved the color. So I ordered 3 yards of this. And that was enough with a little bit of leftovers to make the dress in the size 6. I did do a couple modifications. So I mean, she tells you that you can do this yourself, but I sewed up this center seam just to be a little higher because I didn't want to have to wear a tank top underneath this. I wanted to just be able to wear this on its own and still have a little bit of coverage. So yeah, the seam is sewn up to there, but then there is this faux, I mean, I guess it's not a faux bow because you can untie it, but these ties are there and they're not tying anything up. They're just sewn in there. Then there is a very generously gathered skirt with another tier on the bottom. There's super deep pockets. I actually really love the size of these pockets. Let's see if I can take them out. I mean, it doesn't really show you there, but when you're wearing them, your hand goes all the way down, which is really nice. I would probably use this same pocket pattern on other dresses in the future. It was really good. So I assembled the whole dress together. You know, I finished the top, finished the skirt. I put them together, serged it and everything, tried it on, and I realized that it looked a bit like a parachute. It was just so much fabric. And the boxiness in the top just wasn't really doing the dress much, wasn't doing me any favors. So I decided that I needed to kind of like take it in a little bit and change the bodice a little bit so that I would like the fit a little bit more. So I ripped out all of that serging. I separated the bodice from the skirt again, and I decided to take in the sides. So yeah, I had to undo this bias, binding, whatever this is. Anyways, I undid it and I took in each side. I think it was about an inch. So it kind of brought in the armholes a little bit, so there wasn't so much gaping, and kind of brought in this bodice. And then I decided to add darts. I don't think you can see them at all. There's one right there. But anyways, I decided to add 2 darts to the back of the bodice just because it was so much fabric back there. So there are 2 1/2-inch darts, and because the skirt is just gathered, it made no difference attaching the skirt to a slightly smaller bodice after I made those alterations. So I attached it again, finished it all up, and I was much happier with the fit afterwards. So yeah, I'm not sure if I would have had to make those alterations if I had just sized down and did the size 4, but I am happy with it now that it's done. And then the final thing that I have sewn is this Sylvan jacket by Sew Liberated. I'll show you some modeled shots so that you get a better look at it. Because it's dark denim, it's kind of hard to see. And I have been getting so much wear out of this. I really, really like this as my new jean jacket. So yeah, this is the Sylvan jacket by Sew Liberated. It has a shawl collar. There's optional lengths. You can do shorter or longer, and so many pocket options. There's all these different, shapes and styles. So I went with, forget what it's called, but basically it's just this angled patch pocket that I decided to do. And I made the size 6 again. Absolutely no alterations. I just followed the pattern exactly as written, and I didn't change any of the shaping or anything. It fits really good. I decided to do the back kind of little button pleat thingy here. So this is the side seam, and that's the back cinching it up. That's an option that you can add, and they also say that you can do it on the sleeves, but I decided to skip that. And I've been wearing it with rolled up sleeve cuffs just because I kind of like the casual look that it gives. Another detail that I really like is this little hook for hanging it. I thought that that was a really nice added detail to the pattern, and then I just added a little tag there to make it extra cute. So this is denim that I got from Fabricland. I don't know the weight of it. I feel like it's probably 12, maybe 12 or 14 ounce. Whatever it is, it's very thick and heavy. So I had to use a denim needle and denim thread too. Otherwise, it would just break normal needles. So I just went slowly, and with the needle and with the heavier duty thread, it was able to sew up really well. Something interesting that I did learn when I was doing this is I was nearly finished the jacket. I just had a little bit of top stitching, and then the pockets needed to be added on. And I ran out of my thread, the denim thread. And I had just gone to Fabricland, like, I think that day. So I wasn't about to go out and get some more thread. I just wanted to finish this. And I was talking to my mom, and she recommended doubling up just normal, regular white thread. And I had never thought of that before with sewing. I do that all the time with knitting. You know, you double up your yarn weights, you hold 2 fingering weights to make a worsted weight, or you'll hold one strand with another fuzzy like mohair or suri or something. But I hadn't really considered that with sewing thread. So I tested it out, and it totally worked. I had the exact same color of just regular weight thread at home. So I wound up another bobbin with that, and basically I had your normal thread dispenser at the top of the sewing machine, and then I put the other bobbin up there, and then I thread the machine holding both of those strands. So I had 2 strands from the top, and then obviously my bobbin thread was just 1 strand from underneath. But it sewed up perfectly. There wasn't any kind of like weird tension or anything with the machine. And I mean, I think it'll be very difficult to see here, but the stitching looks exactly the same as the other weight, the denim weight thread. So I was really happy and excited to know that that hack can work if you need to. So I would definitely make another version of this jacket. I really like the look of these pockets. I would probably make this same style again. The only thing I would do differently is maybe just cut them an inch deeper and an inch wider, because they aren't super big. This is my phone here, and it just, like, that's the top of my phone sitting right there. So it holds a little bit, but I would prefer to have, you know, some bigger pockets there. But the next one I make, I think I would like to use a different fabric, maybe canvas or corduroy. Yeah, something to be able to wear with some different outfits rather than just denim. But before I do that, I have to make my husband a denim jacket. So I bought way too much of this heavy denim, and I have plenty. But yeah, he saw this jacket and he really liked it. So I'm thinking of making him more of like a chore coat style jacket. So with just a normal pointed collar, and then probably 4 patch pockets, and more of like a boxy fit for him. So if you have any pattern recommendations, you can let me know. I've been scoping out a few, but I haven't really made a final decision on that one. But that'll probably be my next sewing project when I get up the gumption to pull out the machine and make a huge mess again. All right, that's all I have for you. It's a short one today, but I just wanted to get on and chat a little bit and make sure that you knew about my new pattern release. I hope that you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and whatever you're doing, I hope that you can stop for a moment and just enjoy the scenery or enjoy a moment of making, of reading, of baking, whatever it is that you like that fills up your cup. All right, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.